kingship. For more, let's cross to our reporter, Nkululeko Nyembezi. Nkululeko, thank you very much indeed for coming through. What's the latest?
Well, thank you very much. We are, of course, coming live from Kumbu at King Mphatlo Royal Family, where the Ama-Mpondomise will be briefing the media on the route that have traveled so far. But just to give you a brief background about what has just occurred during all these years, is that there was between 1880 and 1881, there was a king, Chief Mhlonto, who was the chief of Ama-Mpondomise, and then during that time there was a war that was called a gun war between the Basotho and the British government, and we are told that they were approaching towards the Ama-Mpondomise land, fighting against the British government. It is then that Chief Mhlonto invited Hamilton Hope, who was a magistrate by then, to come and address the Ama-Mpondomise warriors, promising them that he would join them and fight against the Basotho who were approaching the Mpondomise land. But this was just a plot, or maybe a conspiracy, because when Judge Hamilton attended the meeting, he was brutally killed, allegedly, by Ama-Mpondomise, and Mhlonto was part of that. But to get more information on that, we are now joined by the secretary of Ama-Mpondomise Royal Family, Chief Patutlolo Kyali. Mhlekazi, can you just maybe briefly explain to us, because we are told that there was a tension between Ama-Mpondomise and the Hamilton or the British government by then?
Let me greet all the viewers, in particular women, as we're starting the Women's Month. Let me just correct a few things. By that time, King Mhlonto was King Mhlonto, not a chief. He was a reigning king during the time of the Disarmament Act, which was 1879. That led to the revolt that was between 1880 and 1881. That was the time when King Mhlonto had to flee and seek refuge, or we can say he went to exile, because after that war, where Hamilton Hope, who was the chief magistrate here in Kumbu, was killed, then he was the one that was now accused of his death, even though Ama-Mpondomise say why casually harsh. So, but ultimately, he came back round about in the early 1900s. Then he was now charged for the death of Hamilton Hope. Then in 1904, he was acquitted by the court of law that he was not guilty. Nevertheless, the British government dethroned him, and they said he was not supposed to be in company of no more than two people, and he was not supposed to even to address Ama-Mpondomise. In that manner, then they reduced him, and they even said it themselves, that they reduced him to a commoner, and they vowed that he will die a commoner. That is one thing that led to the generation of that time to not leave it as it is. They challenged the then government up until in 1930, where they finally recognized his chieftainship. You must remember now, they dethroned him as a king, and then later they just put him as an ordinary traditional leader.
Okay, let's quickly fast forward now. We then in 1994 we obtained a democratic government in South Africa. What have you been doing all over these years?
In actual fact, even before that government, even in the Transkei era, the generation of that time did try to fight for the restoration of the Ama-Mpondomise. Then 1996, when we got now the new constitution, Ama-Mpondomise never stopped. We knocked at the doors, and then that finally led to the establishment of the Nhlapo Commission during the era of President Thabo Mbeki. We made our submissions there, and we were told Ama-Mpondomise did not have a kingship, but we challenged that, and the court granted us to again pursue that with another commission that was formulated, which was the Tolo Commission, which also came to a decision that we also challenged, and that led now to us going to court again up until Judge Brooks gave us the green light that we did have a kingship, and therefore it must be restored.
Okay, we understand that the President of the Republic, Cyril Ramaphosa, is now recognizing you as a legitimate kingdom. How do you feel about that as the nation?
We would like to applaud the President for taking such a conscious decision, because we were really dehumanized, if you can put it that way. So now, after he had recognized our kingship, that really made us as Ama-Mpondomise to be very jubilant, to be very happy that we felt that we were born again.
So we cannot run away from the fact that the kingdoms, most of the kingdoms in the Eastern Cape, are just characterized by squabbles and hatred among themselves. So how different are you going to make sure that at least you unite your people as Ama-Mpondomise?
We are very happy that we are a kingship that has been recognized in this era of democracy. Normally, we are very happy that we have learned from the other kingships, and we are going to make sure that we really do what is good for our kingdom and Ama-Mpondomise as a whole, which is uniting each and everyone to rally behind this kingdom. And as a royal family, we are very united as Ama-Mpondomise of this place.
Okay, there you have it. As you just said, the secretary explaining exactly what had happened. But what I can say is that most of the people here in the Ama-Mpondomise, as more especially the young ones, they were sidelined by then because they were not allowed to participate in any event in the society. But now they are hoping that everything will be fine. Back to you, to studio.
Nkululeko Nyembezi, live for us in the East Cape. Thank you very much indeed for that report. Well, the country is